I went whitewater rafting once back in high school, and it was me and a classmate of mine. We were going down the rapids and we were having a really good time. And at one point we were supposed to take a path one way, but we ended up going another way. And it ended up being a pretty disastrous path. We didn't know we were going the wrong way until we heard the sound of a waterfall coming, and it became pretty evident that we were going to be going over the waterfall in our raft in just a few moments. And we tried to paddle against the stream, but it was too powerful. It was taking us down there, started spinning our raft. And then we got to the edge of the waterfall and we fell over. We fell down the waterfall and the raft floated down and landed on top of us. And I remember being under the water and underneath the raft, and I could tell that the waterfall was hitting the raft, and not thinking, I pushed the raft aside above me, but then of course the power of the waterfall propelled me very powerfully underneath the water, and I started spinning around, and I didn't know which way was up, and I was pretty certain that I wasn't going to make it. Of course I did. I made it. I was fine. I survived. So did my friend. We were okay. I have gone whitewater rafting since. I just try to avoid waterfalls. But do you know what the scariest part of that whole thing was? The middle. It wasn't the beginning of the trip. That was pretty smooth. It wasn't the end when I was standing safely on the shore again. It was the middle. There were a lot of scary parts in the middle. Hearing the waterfall, recognizing that we were going in that direction, falling over the waterfall, being spun underneath the water and not knowing which way was up. The middle part was the scariest. I bring that up because we find ourselves in the middle all the time. The place between the beginning of our existence and the victorious end that God promises us in Christ Jesus. We're living in the middle. And it's a hard place to be. I think it would have been for the Israelites too. As they're going into Jericho and they received the instructions, and Joshua told them to march forward. And then of course the instructions were for 6 days, we're going to march around the city just once and then go back to camp. And then on the 7th day, we're going to do something different. And then we are going to win. God's going to give us the victory. But in the middle there, I bet it was still pretty tough. Even after the first day of marching around the city once, then going back, and I could see myself pretty easily wondering, did we just accomplish anything? Is this really the way that we're supposed to take this enormous city and this strong army with a very intelligent king? And then they did it again the 2nd day, and then the 3rd day, and the 4th day, and the 5th day, and the 6th day. That was all in the middle. Really ripe opportunity for doubt to creep in, and fear. Maybe even some temptations to wander away and from God's instructions and try something different. But of course, for those who didn't, they received the victory in the end. Just like you will. But for now, we're in the middle. We're in the middle. And so don't beat yourself up too much if it's sometimes really hard to live in the middle, because even Jesus knows that it is. And don't be too hard on others who sometimes get worried or afraid or full of doubt, or who even are tempted to try to do things another way. We never want to be there, but we will be, often, for as long as we are in this middle area. We will, and the very best thing to do for yourself or for anybody else who's having a hard time existing in this middle area in which we will be until the day Jesus returns to take us home, is to point ourselves to the Jesus who is coming to take us home. The one who also knows what it's like to be in the middle of a lot of pain and a lot of hurt and even a lot of shame. Not his own, but yours and mine. The weight on our hearts when we realize that I was afraid again. I doubted again. I wandered again. I wanted to be God instead of trust God again. The weight that sits on top of our hearts when we realize we've done that even once. Multiply that weight by the number of people who have ever lived. and the number of times we have all sinned. That's a hard middle to be in. But Jesus was there in the middle, thinking of us, so that we could stand in our middles and know, because of him, we are right now so victorious. We are. One day we'll see it with our eyes. For now, we believe it. We live by faith. Living in the middle, we're still always going to be okay. Rest well tonight, my friends.